Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I am Terra Cactus, and this is Fallout New Vegas.
Roland. What of him? A little bit, yes. Our master needed to stay focused. Even if we each provided a form of stimulation, we were more or less yes men to him. He needed something to push him out of his boundaries from time to time. So to keep his fighting spirit alive, he programmed Roland. And as for why he allowed Roland to be offensive to our guests, I suppose he thought that it was critical for our guests to have at least a modicum of patience or self-derision. Please keep in mind that whatever you tell him, he will use it at the first occasion to irritate you. He's both clever and persistent. That said, I remember 2 people that managed to avert his vigorous badgering. As time went by, our master seemed more and more amused by Roland's provocations. In the end, every time Roland tried to taunt our master, he shrugged it off with a laugh. As for the other one, it was our first guest, Piper. Strong character, Piper had seen many things and lived a whole lot of experiences outside. Survived the Holocaust, too. And they are? Well, Roland forbids me to tell that story, but I'm not supposed to follow his orders anyway. It's a rather amusing story, to be honest. As you know, our master defined Roland to be offensive and irritating in great variety of ways. And there was one method which he was very proficient with: impersonation. Seeing how we resemble each other physically, the only way our master could differentiate us at the time was our voice modules. Then one fine day, Roland discovered he could mimic both my and James's voices. He'd then pass up as one of us and act as if he was malfunctioning. For a time, our master bought it and went to great troubles trying to repair us, until he realized that Rollo was mocking him all along. So he put a cowboy hat and star on him so he could never fool him again. Later, he decided to paint us all and give us some visual identity.
I could tell you it gets better with time, but I would be lying.
Arthur is different. He is probably the one of us I can least relate to. He doesn't like to converse with us, and spends all his time compiling and organizing the data our master left him. Arthur, as far as his personality mind frame is concerned, is a total mystery to us. We don't even know why our master gave him one. There is one thing that struck me, though. Our master sometimes called him Johnson by mistake. You're correct. Our master told us there was a reason why he programmed Arthur this way, but never bothered to tell us. Yes, his memory should contain every book in the library by now. If anything should happen to them, Arthur would be able to print replacements. He is also in charge of monitoring our maintenance vaults and dealing with the vault's technical functions. Yes, there is a simple trick. He only answers open-ended questions. Yes? Oh, I assure you there is nothing much to know about me. I examine, I treat, I stitch. When I'm not, I try to develop my psychoanalytical skills, which is quite difficult. I treated quite my share of traumas during the last decades. Most of the time, our guests arrive in need of medical attention. I'm hearing you. To be truthful, I shared the same skepticism, if only to a certain extent. Though I doubt my own skills, I have reason to think that machines will ultimately be able to provide this kind of service to humans. Let me take the surgery machine, for instance. It doesn't understand what it does, but it can heal human bodies all the same. In the same manner,
Machines with no conceptual comprehension of the human mind might provide some of the support it needs. It's frustrating, having all this theoretical knowledge of human psyche without any personal experience of human feelings and internal conflicts. It's like having a blindfold, preventing me from seeing something I've been touching for decades. You're kind. I might take you up on your offer sometime. Do you wish to talk? Yes? I will help you as much as I can, as long as you don't ask me to breach medical confidentiality. Of course. Ah, it's a special something. I'm glad you asked. As a matter of fact, it's a symbol. Can you guess what it is supposed to represent? That interpretation holds a lot of meaningful information. It's a very nice answer. I like it. But the fact that you chose this interpretation is what's important. And that's precisely what the diner is for me. A way of knowing our guests. I am a machine. I will never understand symbols or interpret their meanings on my own. But I know humans can. But surely you're not just here to talk about our plastic friend. How can I help you? Anytime.
Whew, that was some very extensive dialogue. Oh boy! What's down here? Requires key. Okay. Well, back to the atrium.
So, are you getting comfortable in the library? I was wondering perhaps you could help me with something. Some years ago, two people came here. The first one wore some kind of purple robes. The second had heavy armor, military. From what I could gather, they were on some kind of scouting mission. The robed one, Dexter, really did extensive research, consulted a great deal of books, but never told me what he was looking for exactly. As to whether they found something, I can't say. They stayed for 3 weeks and they were just gone. I would like you to see if you can find anything out about them. They left in such a hurry that I had no time to ask what they intended to do with their knowledge of this place. Maybe they forgot something. They did not even tell me if they learned something useful. Because they did. Dexter liked to record his observations at the first opportunity. It is something we strongly encourage our guests to do. And to share with us for survey reasons. We didn't expect that he would record so many, though. Worst thing is, he left them scattered all over the place. No, wait. The real worst thing was that there wasn't any relevant information on these. Yeah, it's a big deal. We had to deal with some rough situations in the past. We are trying to learn from our mistakes. It's pretty important for me, for us, to know how outside people perceive this place, and what they intend to do with what they learned here. We once received a visit from a group of slavers. They had been tipped off by one of our previous guests, who told them that there was food and shelter here. Things got quickly out of hand. We had to drive them off, violently. We had to seal this place off for a few months. The time to let things blow off. Calm down. Roland should know which room those two were occupying. There might be something there. A note or a recording on what they thought about this place. Good. Come back when you've found something. What? Of course not. Personality modules were hard enough to come by, not to be wasted on some kind of terminal. It took months for our master to manufacture each one of those. Yes, he hasn't been answering for a century now. I may be extending my judgment on this, but I think he's dead. Back when titles were still relevant, he was his dom. All that we know is that one day we found him in this position, under a pile of books. He hasn't moved ever since. As for now, we theorize that he tripped and tried to catch something to stop his fall. The bookshelf came down with him. A grave for robots outside? I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. We can't go out. The maintenance bot is able to, but only rarely, and only to conduct checks and repairs on the exterior. Why not? He liked it there. Because of that protocol of ours, we must protect the library, and it involves that we stay here. Yes. Yes? See you around.
Well, time to go talk to Roland. See what we can find out about this particular place. We'll have to make our way back up to the commoner room. Atrium. Regions. Okay. Here's the cafeteria. Common rooms down here.
Do you need a hand or something? You know, you're lucky I don't have 6 fingers, or I'd give you 4 middle fingers instead of just 1. Yeah, exactly. What is the deal about them? Yes? No. No. Huh? What was that? My hearing's getting a little fuzzy in my old, try again? No. Why don't I? Because James has to learn how to let it go, buddy. Get busy living or get busy dying is one of my favorite movies used to say. You know, movies. Ugh, never mind. Oh, I have plenty to say, just not about that. It's nothing personal. You're just ugly, that's all. And I can smell your sphincter. A dump! That's our executive suite! I'm sorry you're not pleased with the accommodations. Just as if, my good woman, we put a lovely woman named Piper in there. Oh, well, she's one of our lovely guests that consumed almost all of the remaining food supplies and defecates in toilets that don't even flush anymore. Which I can all smell, by the way! Oh, maid. Maid? I'm shocked. Oh, well, she's one of our lovely... Which I can all... In detail? Rather tall, one hand with 3 fingers, cool eye patch, dirty as hell, spoke loudly, snored louder, spilled blood all over the place. It took a whole 6 months to get better. Scolded our master about some obscure shit and I couldn't care less about, and it finally went away. You know, I read how the typical adult human body contains 5 to 6 liters of blood, but it doesn't really register until you see so much of it pooled out on the ground in front of you. It took 4.7 hours for our maintenance boss to scrub it all away. What a mess. Luckily, Helena took that bloody disaster to the infirmary before it spread to the Persian rug. Shit, man, are you gonna play detective all night here? What does it matter anymore? Yes, they did, and no, I didn't know what it was all about. Yeah, well, she was all messed up. Your organics take forever to kind of heal back to some kind of semblance of a working order. Even then, you're never 100% again. I'm glad I'm not one of you. Anyways, why don't you go ask Helena? She'll elaborate more on this. Jeez. Well, since we're besties now, I could try, but honestly, Alright, I'll give it a shot. Try me. Come back soon.
Okay. Need to find the keys. Somehow. But beyond that, we have to go to the clinic to ask more about Piper. See what we can't scrounge up. What is this over here? Just a file in here. There's a book. Okay, nice. Nice. Printing card. Okay, okay.
Forgive me if I'm being too inquisitive, but the scar on your forehead, it is recent, isn't it? Seeing how this is a bullet wound, you might have sustained damage to your brain. I think I might be able to help you with it. First, let me ask you, under which circumstances were you wounded? That's quite a story, I must say. And quite a miracle you didn't die. Let's have your head scanned now. Please sit comfortably while I prepare the procedure. Oh, you're awake. For now, the results are rather encouraging. It doesn't seem that you sustained major damage, though I fear there may be some complications. People suffering from brain trauma often encounter a wide range of personality and coordination disorders, as well as language impairment issues, social disinhibitions, and in some cases, extraordinary risk-taking, as well as a dangerous tendency to transgress rules. Did you observe any of those symptoms?
continue practicing. Okay. I hear you. Suggested non-stimulant courses, C17 mainstream 1. Seems serious. Well, gosh. No, it's okay. I should be able to provide you with something that will help you hold up until, well, until you get better. Yes, better. When you told me what happened to you, there was one thing that bothered me. Your decision to go after the people who ambushed you. Did you ask yourself why you began chasing the person that nearly killed you, especially considering how close he was to succeeding? Exactly. If you understand why I am worried, it may save us some time. That you think about your motives. During your stay here, and as long as you allow it, I will regularly monitor your cerebral activity. On your side, I might ask you to read some books, which may help you put your motivations into perspective. Wonderful! The first book I want you to read is The Count of Ponte Risco. Please come back when you're done with it. I lent it to Roland a while ago. He should know where it is. Anytime.
I ain't honky-tonky anymore. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been all the time I have for this episode, and it's been a real joyride so far. But I'll see you in the next one. Touch